Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio. This is the Corner Bookstore. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and on this show, we feature authors from all over the world who share their work and help inspire others. Joining me is the star of our show, DIANN FLOYD. You can see some of her work here. I always get it right. I got it right today, DIANN. There it is. They're on the right-hand side. Let's bring out DIANN, and then we'll welcome our guest. Hello, DIANN. How are you?
It's great to be here, Dr. Jacalyn. Thank you.
It's great to have you with us. And I just love seeing some of your books there. There's so many that, as I've mentioned before, we need a new bookshelf just for your work. And you're always working on other things. Tell us what you have going on right now. That's probably top secret.
I am working on a children's book. Actually, it's with the publisher and the artist now, so I'll be able to tell you more about it when they're ready for me to start making announcements. But I did see the main character, and I'm really excited about the artwork. And the other exciting thing is, as you know, and for those listening, Rise, A Girl's Struggle for More did really well, and you can find it on Amazon. And I've been asked to do a sequel, so I am working on the first return of the edits from the editor. So that's exciting. So I've been waking up in the middle of the night with ideas and adding more thoughts to it. So it's very exciting.
Congratulations, DIANN. That is exciting, and I'm super happy for you as always. And you're joining us from Chile, Virginia today?
Chile, Virginia, that's right. I'm like frozen. I'm like this.
Well, I do believe that our guest is actually thawing out because where she is, it's even colder than where you are. So
I know. I don't know how people do it. I turn black and blue.
I don't know either, but we're going to find out what Jacalyn has been up to. She's been on our platform before, I think maybe 2 times. I love when people come back and see us. So joining us from Minnesota is Jacalyn Else, author. Welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for having me again. I really appreciate it. And yes, I am thawing out. We had a blizzard a few weeks ago, so yay. Today it's raining though, so some of the snow is melting. So yay.
Yeah, that's exciting. So, Jacalyn, a question I have for you is, how does your environment / the weather impact your ability to write?
You know, it's kind of like days like this. It's fun to go out to little coffee shops, have something warm to drink, a delightful scone to kind of get the juices flowing, depending on how much if we can actually travel on the roads, if there's not too much snow. But it's also kind of a no excuse. Like, I'm at home, I should get something done, you know? When it's nicer out, I love to go out and like sit in a hammock and read a book. So really, this is like the writing time, and it's like Mother Nature putting me in my place. Get back in there, do some stories, let's go. So
I love it.
Now,
when you say it's hammock time, like, what is the temperature for that?
Oh,
like 90?
Oh, no. Too hot. For me, it's like 70s, 70s and between the 70s and 80s temps. That's perfect weather to just go lay outside with a book in one hand, something to drink in the other. It's fabulous. I love those days.
That does sound like fun, for sure.
I might still have a sweater on.
I'd have to have a space heater. We do have a comment. Hello, Stephen Saruni. Hello, my friends. Hello to you. Thanks for joining us. So you have a really cool website address, which we've pulled up your website, teasippingnerdymom.com. What does that mean?
Well, when I was working on my website, I wanted to define myself in some way. I mean, it would have been super easy just to put Jacalyn else author, which would make it easier to find too, I admit, but I really wanted to like kind of capture who I was. So one thing I love is I love drinking tea, and it has to be loose leaf tea. I'm very snobby about my tea. And so I talk about that a little. I'm a huge nerd. I love to talk about nerdy adventures I have. In fact, The Mandalorian season 3 is out, so I have my little baby Yoda ears. And also I think it's important to kind of talk about how as a mom, oh, lovely hair, as a mom and, doing these things, balancing work life, I just wanted it to kind of encapsulate kind of what my life is like and also post stuff about the books that are coming up and have links so you can find out more information about that. So really it was like, I want to talk about so much and get out there. And so that's, if all that makes sense, I feel like I'm kind of a scattered mess right now, especially with my hair.
Your hair looks great.
You look
Stop.
lovely.
Thank you.
I love your energy, and it's wonderful that number one, the site, the name title is so catchy that anybody would want to go and see it. Don't you think, Dr. Jacalyn?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be showing it for sure. And we do have a follow-up from Stephen. You're doing great things.
Yeah.
There you go. Thank you, Stephen. Appreciate that. So you have a book that's coming out, but you also have other works that you're going to be reading from one of your books today. What is that?
So the book I'm reading from is Descendants of Avalon. It's hard to see because I have the blur on, so right in front of my face. That works. It's kind of a young adult fantasy novel. It's about 4 teenagers who get swept to the magical land of Avalon. They have to battle an evil wizard. They meet some descendants from the Knights of the Round Table, as well as some women from that time, because I love exploring women in antiquity, and I think there's a lot of potential there. So it's kind of an adventure. It's also a story about friendship and believing in yourself. And it's the first of my trilogy that I wrote with my publishing company, who's based in Texas, Inklings Publishing. So
Fantastic. I love that. And I just think it's so important to point out that you can have a wonderful imagination and use that in a book that also has some true facts in it, correct?
oh, yes. Yeah. I mean, I've written 2 books set in ancient Egypt because I wanted to explore women in that time during a turbulent time when it's set during the time of Akhenaten, who had introduced monotheism. So talk about crazy because they had like thousands of gods. They're growing up in this brand new capital. There's all this pressure from the previous, priests. They're trying to start something new. I was like, I want to explore that. So I love making things from, ancient times relatable because, I mean, let's face it, we're all human. We all suffer the same emotions every now and then. I'm sure the teenage girls weren't as dramatic as I was as a teenager, but I just find it an interesting concept to explore that I think even nowadays we can relate to many of the struggles they went through.
Yeah, absolutely. Now you mentioned that this book it takes place in Avalon, and I spend the summer in Avalon, so I don't think it's the same Avalon, is it?
Oh, no, it's the Avalon where they took King Arthur after the Battle of Camlin when he was near death. So it's this mythical place over in England, where kind of connected to Merlin and Morgan Le Fay and all that stuff. I have it as a land that's kind of disconnected from Earth since Arthur's death. It lives kind of parallel but separately, and you can only get to it through magic portals. So
Ooh.
one of the portals that the girls actually mistakenly access is a wishing well, and that's kind of what starts their journey. And it's part of what I was going to read in my book today, that scene at the wishing well, because The main character, her first name is Jeannie, and she just found out her parents are getting a divorce. She's very upset. To cheer her up, her friends are like, "Hey, we got this wishing well in the center of town. Let's just go make a wish." Silly girls doing silly things. And so that's kind of where the scene sets up, how everything kind of changes from that moment. So,
All right,
That's
take it
powerful.
away.
Yeah.
all right. So the main character is, of course, Jeannie. I also have Wit and May and Beth. So you'll hear their names through this. Looking thrilled, Wit exclaimed, "Let's do it on the count of 3." She acted as if we'd found a magic wand in her hand instead of a dime. "Everyone together?" May asked. Wit gently bumped her shoulder against mine, as if she could infuse me with a portion of her jolliness. "Yes, it feels more magical that way." "Works for me," Beth agreed. "Everyone, wish for Jeannie's parents to get back together, all right?" May asked, "So, do we say it out loud or get?" She got a dirty look from Beth and added, "I just want to do it right. If we're counting down, we should at least know how we're going to say it." Embarrassed, I responded with, "Just say it in your head, guys." This was getting to be too much of an ordeal, and I was beginning to feel stupid again. There was nothing magical about this anymore. I was tempted to walk away and say forget it, but Wit was so excited. Reluctantly, I said, "I'm ready." "Wit, why don't you count us down?" Beth suggested. "Great!" Wit flipped her blonde hair back behind her shoulders and closed her eyes. Her face scrunched in concentration. We all took her cue and began to think of our wishes. I began to think of all the fun times I'd had with my parents. I remembered the laughing, the dancing, the snuggling, Christmases, Thanksgivings, 4th of July celebrations, my birthdays. I tried to call up every moment we were happy as a family from my memory bank. When I had a large enough collection withdrawn, I poured them out from my heart and wished with everything inside me to save my parents' happiness. Please let them be happy again. Wit's voice cut into my thoughts. 1. An image of my mother laughing in front of the Christmas tree replayed itself. She opened a gift for my dad, which made her laugh. Some inside joke they shared from before I was born. The joy reached her eyes and crinkled the corners. 2. I could see Dad wrapping his arm around Mom. They were singing happy birthday to me. A friend in kindergarten had told me we were no longer friends, so I'd been upset all afternoon. To cheer me, my parents danced around the table like drunken sailors. It was so silly that my 5-year-old self giggled. Dad held Mom close and looked into her eyes. I thought they were about to kiss, so I covered my face. 3. With my lids closed, I flipped the quarter into the air. I heard the plop of coins dropping into the water. Tink! Except one. When I opened my eyes, my gaze fell upon the quarter. It had landed on the concrete lip surrounding the water. How would I miss the water while standing mere inches from it? "Those were some strong wishes," a feminine voice said behind me. We all spun around. I narrowly missed getting smacked in the face by Beth's ponytail. An unfamiliar woman stood gripping a crooked tree branch that was taller than any of us. The woman was old, not quite my grandma's age, but definitely older than my parents. Her facial features were soft but slightly indented, like the whisperings of wrinkles that had yet to settle into her face. There was silver in her hair around her temples and forehead. The rest of her hair was red, like a leaf in full bloom autumn. She had a few skinny, gnarled twigs protruding from her hair. Weird. I hadn't thought we had homeless people in town. Wit asked, "Who are you?" Beth put her hands on her hips. "How do you know what we wished?" May elbowed Beth. She probably overheard us. To the woman, she snapped, "Why are you eavesdropping on us?" "Eavesdropping is not how I know." The woman's voice sounded rich, like thick maple syrup. "Which one of you is Jeannie?" None of us answered, but my friends kept flicking their eyes my way, like that wasn't a total giveaway. We would have totally failed an FBI interrogation. It's a good thing wishing wasn't a federal offense. The woman walked up to the fountain and picked up my quarter. She turned it around in her hand and inspected it as if the coin would tell her the answer. I crossed my arm. Why do you want to know? This, she said, holding the quarter up in front of my eyes, is a very powerful wish and very dangerous. If you make this wish, you may be in for more than you bargained for. Stunned, I snatched it out of her hand. It's just a quarter. You embedded it with powerful images. It carries a part of your soul. Are you sure you want to throw it away? Annoyed, I threw the coin in the water in answer to her question. It hit the surface and floated for a second, which surprised me. I'd never seen a quarter belly flop before. After a moment, it was quickly sucked into the pool. The woman looked me straight in the eye. Her irises were raging storm clouds. I took a step back as she continued. You must all be very brave for what lies ahead. My friends looked as confused and frustrated as I felt. This wishing thing was turning out to be a very bad idea. Wit's eyebrows shut up. What do you mean? Cold gusts of wind curled around us as the woman spoke. You will be tested. Your fates are bound by one wish. It is one of the most powerful I've seen. You will need to be kept safe from the sorcerer before all is lost. Beth tried to keep her hair out of her mouth as she said, You make no sense. Wind rushed, and the sound filled our ears. The woman called over the freak weather. I will send someone for you soon. We covered our eyes while street debris encircled our heads. Then, as suddenly as it picked up, the wind died away. The four of us looked around. The woman had disappeared. All that remained of our encounter were the ripples in the fountain's waters. The ripples were centered around the spot where my quarter had just been sucked down. Beth was the first to speak. I didn't know the crazy train had a stop in our town. And that's the end of the reading.
Woo!
Wow, that was so fabulous.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You drew me in for sure.
Good, thank you.
You have a way of describing things. I mean, every sentence was so rich that I was on the edge of my seat.
Oh, yay. That makes me
Pictured
happy.
it all. I'm like, make a movie out of this, please.
Yeah, I felt like I was there actually. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, do you recall what you were doing, where you were at the time when you wrote that?
Oh, what? This book started a long time ago in my head when I had thought maybe it would just be like this land inside a wishing well. And I didn't feel I had enough substance for it. So that's when I started bringing in some of the Avalon and stuff from King Arthur's legend. And I remember the first time I submitted it to Inklings, they're like, we like it, but we'd like a little more. So I remember editing all of this. Me and my friends were on a writer's retreat, and it was down in like Clear Lake, Iowa, I believe. And we were on this place that was just like right on the lake. It was beautiful and relaxing. And I just really got into my groove and did all these edits for the book. And I just wanted to infuse some of myself. And I'm from Minnesota. So it starts in Minnesota in this small town up north. And so I wanted to infuse some of that into the story. And it was really easy to tap into on this retreat. So that was nice.
Yeah, that is nice. That's great. We're going to take a quick break and then we'll come back and really dive into what you just read and talk about the other things that you're doing. I want to hear all about this tea because I'm a tea drinker too. And I think
Me
that's
too.
T2, T3. How about that?
Nice.
In fact, on the break, maybe you'll go get some tea. What do you think? Show us your tea bags.
Oh, I'll need a little more than one commercial break, but I can see that.
Show us your tea bags, please. No.
Tea
Okay.
leaves.
Tea,
Yes.
yeah, exactly. Tea leaves. Okay, fabulous. All right, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back after we hear from some of our sponsors. Thank you.
Kapayapaan, kapayapaan, kapayapaan.
Diane Floyd Boehm's A Song of Peace tells the story of a young lad named Tommy whose fervent wish for peace on earth touches the hearts of his friends and family, spreads to his community, and eventually unites the whole world around making his dream of peace a reality for everyone. Sit down with the children in your life and share Tommy's amazing story of love and hope. Sing your own song of peace and invite the children to join you. Tommy's tale is more than just a story. It's a movement, and everyone's warmly welcome to take part.
Kapayapaan, 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 kapayapaan.
You'll find A Song of Peace, along with many other wonderful learning and enriching opportunities for children of all ages, at DIANNFLOYD.com.
Hello and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. This is the It's Your Healthy Lifestyle show hosted by the founder of this platform, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and myself, Roland Friedl. How important is your health and fitness to you? We show you how you can easily eat healthier every day, how you can improve your fitness and recover much quicker after your exercises and workouts. Families will learn how to optimize their children's health and nutrition. And finally, you will also hear how you live a long, healthy, and fit life into your old age. Join us here on It's Your Healthy Lifestyle.
Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to Story Garden. Your host, DIANN BOEHM. I'm so happy to have you here today.
Diane Floyd BOEHM tells wonderful stories that warm the heart, spark the imagination, and unite people and families across generations. For children, Diane's Harry the Camel connects with all of us who've ever wondered how different our lives might have been if only we'd been born something better, like a wonderful horse instead of an ordinary camel. In the end, we all learn along with Harry that there's nothing better than just being yourself. Diane's Little Girl in the Moon looks down on earthbound children and wonders if they know she's just like them. A story of love, home, and the bond between mother and daughter, its powerful theme that we're each of us different yet all of us the same plants a seed in children that promises to blossom within a loving and trusting grown-up. Diane's new biography, Rise, recounts the experiences of her grandmother, Ruby, to reveal the hidden strength of the human spirit. Ruby's story inspires all of us to become the best versions of ourselves. You'll find all of Diane's delightful books and much more at DIANNFLOYDBOEHM.com. Visit DIANNFLOYDBOEHM.com. That's DIANNFLOYDBOEHM.com.
And just like that, we are back. Welcome, welcome. And thank you, Diane, for your sponsorship. We are eagerly awaiting your new commercial. So, welcome back, Jacalyn. How were you during the break?
Oh, great, great. I grabbed a few teas, so I can show a
What do you
few
have
off.
there?
So here, tea can be so just lovely.
Pretty.
And there's some that are just a blooming tea that just opens up like a beautiful flower. So this is a very beautiful one I have.
Now, is that
Um,
hibiscus?
This is a keemun. A
How do you
keemun.
spell it?
Keemun.
Keeman.
So it's Keeman with a hint of smokiness blended with strong floral rose. So it's Keemoon Romance is what it's called.
Oh, nice.
Could use some of that.
Right? And then this is when I got on an adventure with friends. We went on a girls' trip to Calstuga. And so when I make this in the morning, it makes me think of my mornings in California when we went on vacation. It's a lovely honey fig black tea. I do like flavored black teas. I also like a lot of white and green. And this is from one of my favorite local places. They're up, in the cities. So that's about like an hour and a half from here. But it's a caramel toffee pu'er. So it is a dark, but it's also got this beautiful like caramel with little pistachio and hazelnut hints to it. And there's just so many things you can do with tea. And yeah, I love like on my TikTok channel, which I've been very lax with recently, but I love to show steeping tea because I think just watching it in the container, how it kind of floats in the water as it's steeping is just gorgeous. And then I'll pair it with a book. So yeah, I'm a big tea fan. I have just so many containers of tea over there. You would not believe it. My husband doesn't believe it sometimes. He's like, how did you get all this?
How do you decide which flavor you're in the mood for?
There are a lot of tea places that you can go to and you can kind of smell it before you buy. So you kind of get some of the hints. I mean, it's not going to be as strong, but there are certain teas like a rooibos tea that I am not, it just doesn't really go, I don't like it as much. Just not my flavor palette, but some people love it. So if you kind of get that, sampling, and then if you can get the aroma that kind of tells you, I'd like to drink this smell. So that's one good way that you can kind of get a sense of it. So with the California tea, I actually would buy a little cup of it and we go for a walk in the morning. And so I was like, I need to bring some home so I can remember the sunny, warm days and the cold winters.
Jacalyn, yeah, I have a question for you about the actual preparation. So what do you put the leaves in?
So I have containers that include a strainer. So that way I will steep my tea to a certain temperature because they all have different temperatures. The blacks are more kind of boiling, the pu'ers more boiling. Whites and greens are before it gets to that boiling point. So I actually have a tea kettle that tells me what the temperature is so I can stop it at the right time. So then I pour it into the container that has a strainer at the bottom and it steeps for the certain amount of minutes. And then I just pop it on top of my cup and it just drains all the tea out and leaves the leaves inside the strainer thing. So it's pretty slick.
That's pretty cool. I like
Wow.
that.
I had no idea that. I just do the boil it and then steeps. You just taught me something. I had no idea.
Yeah, green and white are a bit more you can bring out the flavor with less temperature. And then it's quicker to drink it too. It's not boiling hot all the time. So if it's a little too hot or if you steep it for too long, it'll get that bitter flavor. So say if you want more flavor to your tea, just add more leaves. So just another tip for you. Don't steep it longer. That'll make it not taste as good.
Okay. And what if you are like me, you're an iced tea drinker? So can you then just pour it over ice?
Yes, you can. You can steep it and then you can get a pitcher just full of ice and just let it pour in there and then put it in the fridge for a little bit. And yeah, you can add different flavors to it. Like I've added sometimes some essential oils to it. And it's just a lovely flavor. You can do it with fruits. You can add like raspberries and then pour it over with the ice and so many lovely combinations.
So when's your tea book coming out?
I should, right? I know. I don't know how it started. I think it was me and a friend went out for my birthday once and we had tea and I'd never had it without bags before. And I was like, this is amazing. And the obsession started. So I'm always seeking new, lovely loose leaf teas.
Sounds amazing. I found this. I have this here on my desk. I'm just going to hide their name because they haven't paid me yet. Can you see passion fruit green tea?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I found this little gem And I think it's a little pricey. I don't know. I'm just saying, unless they want to send me a case. But I absolutely love it. It's unsweetened, and I'm not totally positive, but it is green tea. So does that mean there's no caffeine? It doesn't say on the bottle.
Typically with green, there's not. Usually with tea, like especially the black tea, there's maybe a little, but it's so insignificant compared to coffee. So just check if you are sensitive to caffeine, just check how much might be in there. And again, it's usually with the black teas. Green and white usually don't have much, if any, caffeine in it, at least in my
Okay.
experience.
That's good to know. And I think DIANN is spot on about you doing a book about tea. We actually had on a different show, The Power of Etiquette and Manners. We had someone on who has done a whole series around how afternoon tea can save the world.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Great book.
Yeah. If you think about it, getting together with someone and having a conversation as opposed to just judging and labeling and arguing, it's such a nice thought. Yeah.
And it's so relaxing. It's a nice warm drink to just, chillax
Chill.
those vibes. So
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to pull up your website right now. I want to make sure that we get to that today.
Okay.
So here we go, teasippingnerdymom.com. I'm over here, so tell me where to go.
So you can see all of my novels kind of on the side there. That has the most recent novels that have come out. It has some of this landing page has some of, say, my reviews that I've gotten from people recently to kind of let you know, hey, my books aren't so bad. You should check them out. See what these people say.
Great.
So yeah, I put that kind of on the landing page. If you go to the top, that's where all the sections are. So you have the different sections. There is one that says tea time that has some tea. But there's also, there's tea time. And so I kind of talk a little bit about some of my favorites, what I like to do when I'm steeping tea, kind of that picture. I was so excited. That was my first pot that showed me the different temperatures. I was like, wow, you can get this on Amazon. It's amazing. I found it and I was like, this is astounding. So it just has some of my recommendations, what I like, some of the tools. Like here's that little steeper that I use. Or you can get like a little basket, that little basket there that you can just put in your cup and then take it out.
Too. So, and then what do you do with the leaves? You just toss them?
Yep. Okay. Some you can re-steep. It depends on what it says. And the blooming teas usually you can re-steep. That's my daughter many, many years ago. She is almost 17 now, but that was our ice tea maker we had.
Love it.
So yeah, then just something about like, this is a little journal for keeping track of teas. I'm not I start out really good with journaling and then I kind of like get caught up in other things. So yeah, that's my tea page so far. And I know it can be developed, but I'm trying to focus also on my books, but give you some cool recommendations.
Awesome. So when you think about people who are new to getting to know you, how would you sum up your elevator pitch of what it is you write about?
I love writing about women in ancient or magical settings who go on an adventure. That is what I enjoy. If you like things like Percy Jackson or Narnia or the Mists of Avalon, I am up your alley, girlfriend.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then the one tab, there's my books. Media, my books is there, and then there's a media and a media kit. The media kit is if you download any information, any pictures, whatnot.
It's a good picture of you.
Thanks. Nice. That was when we were on our writing retreat in Iowa, so that's when that was taken.
Very nice. And then how would you say from Descendants of Avalon, book 1, book 2, book 3, the different titles, how does the book series evolve?
It really involves these teenagers coming into their own, finding confidence, finding a place where they belong, and they go on different adventures, meet different people. Book 3, I'm throwing everything in there. I got some ancient Egypt. They go to the ancient Egyptian underworld, Duat, and I have other people going on this adventure to find people to gather together to battle this evil jinn or genie. So I just like exploring the different aspects of, say, mythology in it. So I bring some other mythological characters in as well, like some Greek heroes, some indigenous people heroes, um, to bring into the storyline to really kind of enrich it and welcome different people into the narrative. And yeah, it just keeps evolving with them learning that maybe they have a connection to magic and also maybe a connection to Avalon itself. So a lot of discovery happening in the novel.
I love
Ooh,
it.
love it too. Fabulous. Is there anywhere else over here you'd like me to go?
No, I think that's, anyone is welcome to go there. I have a contact me page. If you're interested to contact me, you're welcome to. Um, I'd love to hear from you. If you've read my book, I'd love to hear from you, get your thoughts. I love talking bookish things. I love going to like those book events where you can show up as an author and meet different authors, meet different readers. I hope to do more of that this year. That's kind of my goal because I just feel like we've been so closed off, things have been canceled, and I feel
Mm.
like the world is waking up again. Like, COVID's a reality now, but we are overcoming, I like to think, and reconnecting. And so I'm hoping we can go to more of those type of bookish outlets and just talk books, talk nerd. Let's go.
Yeah, that's cool. I love it. I just went to my first business trip in 3 years to Orlando last weekend. I was having
Nice.
seriously like a meltdown before I got there thinking about germs and interacting with all these people. And anyway, it ended up being really good. And I brought some books and I was actually signing. I brought like 5 books because I wasn't there for that reason. I was like, this is kind of cool. I could get used to this. It's fun.
Nice. I love
Very
it.
nice.
Yeah. So when your new book is coming out, will there be a book tour or what are you looking to do to promote it?
I would love to go to different areas. So I have a book coming out. It's a children's book. It's one I wrote and I illustrated. And it's about a little elephant girl who dreams of being a ballerina. And so she joins her first ballet class. But not everyone's super welcoming because she isn't the stereotypical type of look you expect from a ballerina. So it's really about that love of dance and loving what you're doing. If you love it, do it. And so that has been submitted to my publisher, again, going through Inklings Publishing. And you can kind of keep up with the happenings on my website or inklingspublishing.com. But we are hoping to get that out in the fall of this year. So I am so excited. Like, I wrote this book maybe 15 years ago, and I queried it to different places, and that was before we really had the opportunities as authors to self-publish well and not super expensive. Like, so when I showed it to my publisher, they're like, "What else you got?" I showed it to them, and they were really excited about it. And that just warmed my heart so much because I've had this story in me for a while that dance is beautiful no matter what you look like, what your size is, what your color is. And it's if you love what you're doing, let it shine through you. And so that's what I hope this book portrays. I'd love to go to different bookstores and just talk about it with other girls who love boys who love to dance. All that. I just would love to connect with people who have this passion in them and sometimes don't really know how to or have the courage to really let them be their truth, if you know what I'm saying with that.
I do. That's
Absolutely.
great.
Yeah, it is. Now, when you are writing this, when you wrote this, did you have anyone in mind?
I was thinking back when I was a dancer way back in elementary school, junior high, high school, I just remembered all the really tight costumes we had to wear. And at the time, I was very thin. And yet, when we'd be put into some of these two pieces as a sixth grader, I was uncomfortable with that. I was uncomfortable to have my dad go to my shows and watch me dance in this skimpy little costume. And I remember we had some dancers who were overweight who would have to wear these very unflattering costumes, but they were such beautiful dancers. And if you just saw them standing there in this costume that doesn't fit their shape, you might think, "Oh, well, what is she or he doing here? But they had such grace and skill. And I think it's important to know that so many aspects of art, it's not just one size fits all. And so that's why I decided to write and kind of draw out this book, because I wanted to make it, accessible for younger kids who I hope will find, like I said, courage in themselves to go out and be themselves. It's a lesson I always try and tell my kids, even in high school. Like, I know people judge; they're always going to judge. Just be you, because who cares? It's you. You're amazing, and if they don't get it, then they are missing out. So that was really that motivation behind the book.
Oh, thanks for sharing that. That's beautiful.
It's wonderful. And I know exactly what you mean about feeling so uncomfortable in those outfits. Not that I was a dancer or anything, but as a teacher and a mom experiencing that with my own children and their friends,
Wow.
sometimes it bring them to tears. So this is
Yeah.
going to be a great book for
I hope
everybody.
so. I hope people really enjoy it, because I really loved writing it and illustrating it. I loved tapping into those, like, okay, here's a tendu, here's first position, here's second position, kind of bringing that out in illustration. And they're all animal characters, so I have different animals in there. So
That's smart.
I hope people really find the fun in it too.
I think they will. So did you drink rose tea?
A lot of tea, yes. So too many to recall.
So you'll have to come back, Jacalyn, and share the new book with us, with our
Yes.
audience.
Oh, I'd
Yes.
love to. I would love to, Dr. Jacalyn. I'm going to contact you and be like, this is coming out. Let's talk.
Yay,
Yeah,
do
let's
it.
go.
Fantastic. Well, we do have your information up, but for people who can't see it or they're on a platform where they're just listening, what's the best way to reach you, Jacalyn, and how can people order your books?
You can get them through the ones through Inklings. You can get through inklingspublishing.com or Amazon. I know Amazon's an evil empire, but they do have me. So all of my books are available on Amazon at my Amazon page. I do have the Ancient Egypt books, and I also have a sci-fi novella about drop something. It's about a human zoo on an alien world and
Wow.
some nefarious government things going on. And so you can find all that stuff there. I love going on social media. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. So you can usually find me. Typically, I'm at Jacalyn Else or at Jacalyn Else Author or T-Sip and Nerdy Mom. It's probably pretty easy to find me if you just type in Jacalyn Else. I don't think there's another one out there. So knock on wood.
Fantastic. I do want to say hello to Joe Del Campo, Stephen Ceruni, and Elio Rivera. They let us know that they're here. So thank you. A pleasure having you, Jacalyn, and I'm super excited to actually start my own tea journey. I'm going to be able to
Yay.
share when I see you next.
Yeah, you know where to find me. So if
I
you got
do.
questions, you let me know.
And stay warm.
Oh, thank you. I'll do my best. Thank you so
All
much.
right. See you again. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. That was so much fun, wasn't it, DIANN?
Oh, the time just flew, but all her books and her imagination, I don't know how she has time for anything else because she's in another world creating fantastic stories.
And
So-
she's such positive energy. I love people like her. You can just feel it coming through the screen.
I know. I'm like really pepped up to not even go ride. I just want to go walking now.
I thought you were going to say not even to go run.
I can't run.
I know you're not running. I know you're not a runner.
You're a runner.
But DIANN, how can people reach you? And also tell them the shows that you're on here on our platform.
So you can reach me at DIANNFLOYDBOEHM, BOEHM, and sign up for my newsletter so you always know what's happening. And so Dr. Jacalyn, as you know, and everyone, we have this new show. Sorry, the word escapes me because I'm thinking of the title. Once Upon a Time, and for families, and it's a wonderful place to find out all about great games. It's a guide for people. And then, and we need Jacalyn Else to come and be on that show too. She'd be wonderful. And then we have our UK show. And then we have this one, the Corner Bookstore. And I'm just so very proud to be a part of your team, Dr. Jacalyn. You work magic and you inspire me every day.
Oh, thank you, Diane. You're so sweet. Back at you, my friend. So
Thank you. But say the full title of Once Upon a Time, because I kind of butchered it.
that's Once Upon a Time, the Good Book
Guide.
Good Book Guide for Kids. But it's more than books, really. It can be anyone who has anything to do with children. So I should change the title so it's not misleading.
So if you have things, or and you like specialize in sharing great books, besides books, but games, coloring books, all kinds of things that enrich kiddos' lives, then you need to contact us.
Absolutely. And they can do that by going to our website, usaglobaltv.com/book-your-session.
Yes.
So we are going to be leaving because the film and music show is coming up, and we have a guest coming. I encourage everyone to tune in. Her name is Glenda Benavides, and she has a new song out called Walking, and I actually purchased it, and a tree's been planted as a result. It's going to be planted, and I just love this song among so many others that she had. So it's going to be fun. We're going to be playing it.
Oh, great. I love her too. She's amazing.
She is truly amazing. So Diane and I are signing off for now. And if you want to see any of our other shows, go over to our YouTube channel, which is USA Global TV, and you can find the playlist there of all of our content. So thank you so much. And we'll be back momentarily with our next show. Have a great day, Diane.
You too. Take care, Dr. Jacalyn.
Take care. Bye, everyone.